start. So hello everybody. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Otalia doe-bruce, and I'm the founder of the Innovative Financier, which is this not-for-profit group that is organizing and hosting this webinar. And I'm also the founder of Innofin Consulting Incorporation. All right, so for those of you who don't know, the Innovative Financier is basically a not-for-profit group that started last year. And really the goal is to help stakeholders in the finance industry to understand the impact of emerging technologies, obviously starting with blockchain, but also expanding into other emerging technologies such as AI, IoT, and AR, VR. So in the next couple of months, we will have a lot of announcements. And so if you've signed up with us, you will be receiving those announcements, and there'll be a lot of events where you'll be able to learn more, share with others, as well as network. Some of our events are live with this webinar, and some others are actually in person. And we also partner with other associations. So our last partnership was with Blockchain Research Institute, and they had a 2-day conference that we attended. And actually, one of our members actually earned a free ticket to that conference. So make sure that you keep in touch with us. And we not only have a meetup group, but we also have a website. So our website is www.theinnovativefinancier.ca. So make sure that you visit that website often to be in the know with what's going on with us. All right. So without any further ado, I'm going to introduce Jon Hearty. Jon Hearty is the head of business development at the Origin Protocol, and he's calling us from straight from Silicon Valley. And he'll be presenting this amazing marketplace that is integrating, it is disrupting other marketplaces that you are most familiar with, such as Uber and Airbnb, and it's also integrating the stablecoin of the MakerDAO, so the DAI. So without any further ado, I will let Jon take it away. Before I forget, as Jon is doing his presentation, he will also take questions, and we'll have pauses. And so during those pauses, I will give him your questions, and he'll be able to answer those. All right. So without any further ado, Jon, go ahead and take it away.
All right. Thank you so much. Glad to be here and share a little bit about what we are up to at Origin. We're also going to make this presentation as interactive as possible and give everybody an opportunity to interact with one of our marketplaces and purchase an Origin t-shirt, and we'll actually give you enough ETH to go through the entire process and set up your wallet to do so. But I will start off with a little context first. Origin is a blockchain platform for building decentralized marketplaces. We are built on top of the Ethereum blockchain, and our goal is to enable true peer-to-peer commerce. And I'm going to give a little bit of context first by rewinding about 25 years or so to eBay and Craigslist. These online marketplaces changed the way that we bought goods and services online. Instead of buying them directly from businesses, these websites allowed us to buy them from other consumers. And over the last 25 years, many new marketplaces like this have been created. More recently, Airbnb and Uber have taken over the sharing economies and changed the way that we transact. The thing is, these are often referred to as peer-to-peer, and the truth is they're not peer-to-peer. There's a giant company sitting in the middle. They're collecting everybody's data, and they're using that data to monetize. So our goal and our mission at Origin is to enable true peer-to-peer commerce using the blockchain. The overall architecture of what we're building starts at the very bottom with a set of open source protocols in the form of smart contracts on Ethereum to represent things like identity and listings on the blockchain. We've also built a few things on top of these smart contracts to try to get the power of these decentralized marketplaces and the power of the blockchain into the hands of as many people as possible. So in addition to some developer tools like a JavaScript library that we are working on, we've recently released a no-code creator for decentralized peer-to-peer marketplaces, where you can simply fill out a form, upload your logo, and select your colors, and create a fully decentralized marketplace built on Origin. Lastly, we've built a number of decentralized applications as well on top of all of this. We're going to be going through one of these today, which is our mobile application. We also have some web applications that I'll cover as well that we've built on top of Origin. Very quickly, though, I want to cover something that's very important, which is why are we doing this? We break it into 4 different major reasons. Number 1 is to lower fees. These online marketplaces typically have pretty high transaction fees, ranging from about 20 to 30% and often higher, especially in extreme cases. And when you can cut out the middleman using blockchain, you can remove these fees and put them back into the pockets of both the buyers and the sellers. Secondly, you can use cryptocurrencies to redistribute value much more fairly throughout these networks. And instead of only the investors and founders and early employees benefiting from the growth of the network, the early users can also benefit. We also are very interested in promoting free and open commerce with blockchain technology. These online marketplaces are banned or heavily regulated in cities across the world, and we're excited about the immutability of blockchain and what that can do to allow these goods and services to be transacted freely regardless of a person's location. And lastly, we want to serve the unbanked. There are billions of people who do not have access to credit cards or bank accounts, but do have access to cheap Android smartphones, many of which will have cryptocurrency wallets that will allow their first transactions on these online marketplaces to be powered by the blockchain and allow them to entirely leapfrog the traditional financial system entirely. So like I mentioned, there are a few different marketplaces built on Origin today. You can go to our first marketplace that we launched at dApp.originprotocol.com. This is a meta marketplace that aggregates listings from all Origin-powered marketplaces. So you will see listings from different verticals, goods, services, etc. We also have an art marketplace at pureart.io that has both crypto and non-crypto art. And lastly, we have cryptomerch.io, where you can find things like hats, t-shirts, etc. from your favorite crypto projects. You'll notice that the fees are 0% for all of these marketplaces, which means all of the money that you use to purchase something, a good or service, is being sent to the seller directly. So we are going to go into the interactive part of the presentation next, but I do want to pause briefly in case there are any questions that anybody has. Oh, sorry about that. And give us a chance to catch up and get up to speed. I don't seem to be able to hear you. Are you on mute, maybe?
Yes, sorry. All right, so I was saying, thank you, John. Guys, so if you want to ask any questions at this stage, you can type them in the Q&A section, and I'll be able to repeat them to John. So we'll just give you 1 or 2 minutes for that. All right, so we have our first question in, and the question is, so how is the business model working for Origin since it has 0 fees?
Yep. So in the short term, we are taking a pretty traditional cryptocurrency route, which is we have ERC20 tokens. We've raised money from private investors, and that's giving us, a considerable runway to build out a lot of the technology. And we're hoping to drive demand for the token, and we hold some reserves, that sort of thing. Obviously, that approach is very experimental still today and unproven. So we intend to experiment with other business models as well. There are a number of business models that we are tinkering with on kind of the cryptocurrency side, but we also understand that as an open source project, we're completely open source. There are models that we can follow. So there are many open source companies that have enterprise business models where they support large companies, in this case, large marketplace operators with enterprise level support services, et cetera. So I think there's a number of different options that we have, but luckily in the short term, we have raised enough capital from investors to be able to see if these crypto economic models are viable.
Okay, thank you. So do you have any other questions, anybody? All right, so I don't see any other questions coming in, so we can continue. Thank you, Jon.
No problem. All right, so as I mentioned, this portion will be interactive. If you could bring out a mobile phone, it will allow you to go through the process of purchasing an Origin t-shirt using one of our marketplaces. And it'll be especially fun if you've never interacted with a decentralized application before. It's definitely a little bit different, but it's pretty empowering to know that there is no company sitting in the middle controlling this. It is being controlled by code and being controlled by smart contracts largely. So starting off, you will need to install our mobile app. I will note here that our marketplace is accessible in a number of different ways. Obviously on the web, if you're using a browser extension like MetaMask, you'll be able to interact with our applications. On mobile, they work on a number of different mobile wallets like Coinbase Wallet, IM Token, etc. But for today's presentation and to get the best experience, you're going to want to use our mobile application. You can find it by searching for Origin Marketplace in the Play Store or App Store, or you can use one of these QR codes as well. Once you have installed and opened the app, you're going to go through an onboarding flow. And the last step is going to be enable notifications. This will allow you to stay updated on your transactions, make sure you're able to see if your offers were accepted and that sort of thing. You'll also have an opportunity to do this later in the flow as well. Once you've done this, we're going to need to either create or import a wallet. So the wallet is a very important part of this whole process. This is what is core to cryptocurrencies and ultimately using these decentralized applications. For the purpose of this presentation, we're going to create a new wallet and start from scratch. Once you've done this, you should see the marketplace screen for the on the mobile app. And again, this is going to show you listings that are aggregated across all Origin-powered marketplaces. You can also buy and sell directly on this marketplace as well. And again, 0% transaction fees on everything on here. All right, so the first part of the process is to actually complete your identity profile. I can also pause here, and just in case there are any questions, let me know. But in the meantime, I'll chat a little bit about identity. It's very important when it comes to these marketplaces. It's something that centralized marketplaces handle today in a number of different ways. But when it comes to the blockchain, there's no straightforward way to do it. So we ended up building something ourselves. Of course, it's open source, so you can see what we've done. But ultimately, the idea is that we're going to attach our Ethereum wallet address to a number of different services like text message and email. So in order to do this, we're going to click on the icon on the right side of the top navigation menu, and then we're going to click Edit Profile. This will bring us to a page where we will be able to add these attestations to connect our Ethereum wallets with these other services. So starting with email, we just click the gray email box here, and this is going to be a pretty familiar flow for verifying an email. You just plug in your email address, click continue, and we're going to email you a verification code that you are going to then use to confirm that you have access to this email account. So you plug it into the form field, and you should see a success page like this, that your email address has been verified. We're going to go through the same process for the phone as well, and we're going to enter in the verification code that is texted to us to verify our phone number. So it's important here that we're establishing that, you know, we're a real person of some sort. You know, we're not a bot. We're not trying to defraud or scam somebody. And to this end, we're also going to put in some basic information like our first name, last name, picture, and a short bio or description of who we are. Once we've done all this, we actually need to publish this information to the blockchain. But in order to do this, we actually have to pay what is called a gas fee. And this gas fee is paid in ETH, and we don't have any ETH in the wallet that we just created. It's a brand new wallet. So for the next portion of this, we're going to need to get some ETH to pay for not only the gas costs to publish our profile, but also to actually purchase the Origin t-shirt. So once again, just want to very quickly take a quick break in case there are any questions. I'm also going to take a sip of water here. So let me know if anybody has any questions or is getting stuck or needs help along the way.
All right. Okay. So guys, I have sent a chat to everybody. So please respond with good if you're able to download the app and also the wallet. If you're encountering any issues, feel free to send me a private message. And so we'll wait for a few minutes to ensure that everybody is on track.
Yeah, and just might as well mention here that we really appreciate everybody's feedback. There's a long way to go before using one of these decentralized applications is very, very easy for a regular person. And you know, we're working hard to try to abstract away a lot of the complicated parts and ideally make it feel just like a normal application that you would, you know, use today. So in order to do that, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done because a lot of this is being rebuilt from scratch. And we want your feedback in order to understand what could use improvement, where you guys are getting confused, and that sort of thing.
So actually, I am myself also signing in right now.
All
It's
right.
also my first time using the wallet, the app, and I just have to confirm my email. So yeah, for mine, it says no verification code was found for that email. So I guess I'm having a little bit of difficulty myself.
Okay, if anybody's having trouble, we can always, you know, keep moving along if the trouble is specifically for the identity part. I do want to make sure everybody has an opportunity to get the little bit of free ETH that you'll need to complete the process. And there is a time window on that, so it's only available during the presentation itself. So if we want, we can continue. It could be some sort of bug. It's hard to say without knowing exactly what's going on. But if anybody is having success, maybe they can let us know in the chat. I did go through the flow recently and was able to, but you know, things change pretty quickly, so it's hard to say if something might be broken.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess we can move along, and then while you're talking, we'll figure it out.
Okay.
But I already have a lot of goods, so that means a lot of people are able to
Great.
to sort this through. Yeah.
Okay, I'll work with you and anybody else that's having trouble, maybe after the call if necessary. All right, so moving along, we're going to need to get some ETH. So go to your wallet, which you can do by clicking on the icon in the middle of the bottom navigation menu. And you'll notice that we have 0 balances for everything because it's a brand new wallet. We need to copy our wallet address. So if you click on that little gray text string at the top, you should get an option to copy your wallet address. Click copy, and it is now copied to your clipboard. We'll now need to go to a what's called a faucet. And ignore the screenshot here. I apologize, it's an old screenshot. But if you go to this URL, ogn.dev/innovate, it's actually going to pre-populate innovate as the invite code, which is the correct one for today's presentation. And then you'll paste your wallet address into the wallet address field from your clipboard and hit submit. And hopefully you should see a page that looks something like this, which means that the transaction has gone through on our end, and we now just need to wait for the blockchain to confirm the transaction and send you your ETH. In order to verify that this has successfully happened, go back to your wallet in your Origin Marketplace app, and you should now see 0.01 ETH in your Ethereum wallet. I'll take another pause here just to give everybody some time to catch up, see if anybody had any trouble. Again, I'll mention. Okay. Yep, go ahead.
Yes, can you, so a question is, can you please repeat the URL?
Yeah, definitely, right here, sorry. ogn.dev/innovate. And that will populate the invite code innovate, which is incorrect in this screenshot here.
Are you able to send it in the chat?
Yeah, I think I should be able to. Let me try. I'm not seeing my chat for some reason. Maybe you maybe do it? Let me see if I can.
Yeah, anyway, so I think it's displaying on the screen anyway, so everybody.
Yeah, and I was able to do it. I just got it in there. Hopefully everybody can see it now.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, if it says transaction pending, you probably just need to wait. It should actually go through eventually. Let me know if it doesn't for any reason, but it should. And it will be open just during this presentation. Keep that in mind. But let me know, send me an email. I'll provide it at the end of the presentation if you have any issues. All right, so moving along, we now need to go back and actually publish the identity. Hopefully, most of us were able to go through this part successfully, but we want to go back to our profile here in the same way we did before. Top right corner, edit profile. And when we scroll down, we're going to see a button that says Publish Changes. I want to note here that we are not publishing your actual phone number or email address to the blockchain. We are just simply verifying that you have a valid email and a valid phone that is attached to this Ethereum wallet address. In general, it's important to know what you are publishing to the blockchain because, like I said, it is immutable. Once it's there, cannot be removed. So we do our best to make it very clear, but it's also smart for you as the user to also make sure you understand what you're doing. So we click Publish Changes here. It may prompt you again to enable notifications if you haven't already, which is very smart to be updated, to be sure to be updated on all of your transactions. And we're going to see a confirm modal. So it's going to ask us to pay the gas cost to publish our profile information to the blockchain. Today, it's somewhere around 1 or 2 cents US. We are working to keep this as low as possible and potentially eliminate the need for users to have to pay for this entirely using something called meta transactions, which would essentially allow us, Origin, to cover this cost on the behalf of the user. So once we've done this, again, we're going to have to wait a little bit for the blockchain, but we should see a success modal. And we'll notice now that the phone box, instead of being blue, is green, which means that it has been published and our profile is now published. All right. So lastly, we want to actually use this marketplace and purchase an Origin shirt. So what we're going to want to do is click on the icon on the left side of the bottom navigation menu to get to the marketplace and enter innovative into the search bar. Again, ignore the screenshot here. You should see a listing called Origin T-shirt for the innovative Financier. Let me know if you don't. I can pause again here to make sure everybody's able to find the listing. But what we're going to want to do is basically click into that listing. And this will allow us, when we scroll down, to make a purchase. First, though, we'll notice here that we actually have a default to pay with DAI. So the seller, when they create a listing, they can choose which currencies they want to accept, ETH, DAI, or both. For our smart contracts, we actually support all ERC20 tokens, but our UI actually just supports these 2 for now, and we are working on supporting additional ones. It was important for us to have a stable coin be the first currency outside of ETH that we support because it's very important for marketplaces. If you think about like booking a house on Airbnb, you might pay today but not stay there for a few months. That's going to cause a huge issue for either the buyer or the seller, depending on what happens to the price of ETH during that time. So using DAI can eliminate that issue and make things much better for both parties. So for today's presentation, we're going to be using ETH. So we're going to want to click that little ETH button to toggle it. And this should show us now a purchase button instead. Going back though really quickly, we do support a swap using Uniswap. So even if you don't have enough DAI, you can actually swap it using this UI to pay for it in DAI if the seller is accepting it. But we're going to be using ETH for this, and we're going to just click purchase button here, and we should have enough ETH to pay for the transaction. Any questions so far?
All right, so there is a question because one of the attendees cannot find publish.
Cannot find what? The shirt, or cannot find the publish button?
Publish button.
Okay. It could be, you have to make sure you've made some changes, right? So you have to either have added your phone and email verifications, or you also need to have, let me just go back here. You also need to have filled out this part, for example. You need to make sure you have something to publish. And again, to remind you where to get back to that profile, we're going to click in the top right button, click edit profile, and you'll have to scroll down a little bit, but you should see a publish changes call to action here towards the end if you have made some updates to your profile. If not, we can always do the identity part after the purchase. It is a requirement for us to send you the shirt, but you don't have to do it before we actually make the purchase. So I would say in the interest of time, let's keep going through the actual purchase flow. And then if you had trouble with the identity section for any reason, you can always do it at the end. Any other questions about the shirt itself? Is everybody able to find that listing and click into it and click the purchase button?
So what is the name of the shirt again, you said?
Origin t-shirt for the innovative financier. I would use the search bar at the top and just punch in innovative. I can try to, well, let me know if anybody has trouble finding it, or maybe type good if you're able to find it, just so we all know.
So is everybody able to find the shirt?
I'm going to just pull it up on my phone real quickly here.
All right, so Devin says that he says right into the blockchain and that this may take a minute, so that's fine, right?
Yep, that sounds like he's still doing the publishing his profile, which is totally fine.
Okay. But is everybody able to find the shirt that they should be purchasing?
Let me look here. I'm going to try to make it a little bit easier if I can to find. 1 second here. One second here. If you guys don't mind, I'm going to just pause this. Try to do something that might make it easier to find. If you guys have any trouble finding it, we can always use either a different shirt. I don't see a big issue with that. There's one, it's very similarly titled. If you search for Austin, I'll type that into the chat. Maybe that'll help. If you search for that, let me do that. for Austin. You should see a t-shirt. At the end of the day, it should be fine to use either one. I think there might be an issue with the other one, but let me go back to my presentation and turn this on.
All right, guys. So with by typing T-shirt Austin, I was able to find the shirt.
Yeah, let's use Austin. I think that'll work probably best.
Yes. So guys, so if you type T-shirt Austin, which I'm going to send you, you should be able to see it. There you go. And so again, to get access to the listing, you click on the small house at the top, at the bottom left, and then you're going to search it in the search bar on the back on the top.
Yep.
And that's how you'll find the T-shirt.
Correct. So we're going to click into that T-shirt. Let me see if I can start. There we go. We're going to click on the ETH button down. When we scroll down, we're going to click purchase, and we're going to be waiting for the blockchain. Once we've done this, we're going to see this modal again, very similar to what we saw before, but instead of paying to publish our profile, we're paying for both the cost of the shirt as well as the gas cost for this transaction. You should have enough ETH for all of this. Same thing, wait for the blockchain. And now we're done. In order to kind of verify that things have gone through, of course, after waiting for the blockchain, we can go to this menu in the top left, this little hamburger icon. And this will bring down a menu. If we click purchases, we're going to see a list of everything we've purchased. In this case, should be just this shirt. And at the bottom, you'll notice there's a little transaction flow where the offer has been placed. The next step will be for the seller, us in this case, to accept the offer. And we will go ahead and do that on our end. But in the meantime, once you click into this listing again, we're going to see a link to message the seller. And for this, it's very important because we need to know what size shirt to send you and where to send it. So when you click message seller, you may get, you should get a modal that says enable notifications or something like that, because you actually have to enable notifications. You have to sign something in order to send messages. But this will allow you to send us a message with your shirt size and shipping address, and we can communicate with you that way, which we'll use to follow up with you. Once you've done this, the last part of the whole flow, once you've received your t-shirt, is you need to actually come back in and leave a review and rating for this transaction. And the reason for this is this is what releases the funds from the smart contract to the seller. So this is how you complete the transaction. You leave your rating, your review, and that's basically it. So once you've received your shirt, it's important to do that to kind of close everything up. All right.
So the review, sorry, so the review is provided before the transaction is completed?
No, this is, I was just showing everybody once they got the shirt what to expect. The leaving a review part of it, it's something you'll have to do at the end of the transaction, but this is going to be once you've received your t-shirt.
Okay, okay.
This won't be something you do today. The last thing I just quickly want to mention while everybody's getting caught up, hopefully, and going through that, and again, we'll work with you after this presentation to make sure you're able to go through this flow. Just make sure you've gotten your ETH from that faucet, because that will be closed soon. But I do want to mention Origin Rewards, which is what we're using to incentivize the early users of Origin. So I mentioned that one of our 4 whys is to redistribute value more fairly throughout these networks. And although even our investors have not yet received their Origin tokens, you today can go in and actually earn these tokens yourselves by doing things that are going to help grow this network. So the process that you've gone through already, as far as verifying your phone number, are all things that can earn you Origin rewards this month. There are other attestations you can do, like your Twitter and Facebook profiles as well, that can earn you Origin tokens. However, today they are not, we can't support this on mobile, so you'll have to actually do it from your browser. Next month, there's going to be a different set of actions that you can actually earn Origin tokens for through Origin Rewards. So be sure to sign up for Origin Rewards and have an opportunity to get some of these Origin tokens before basically anybody. And it's all, again, a way to incentivize you to do things like referring your friends to the network and making it more safe and secure to transact on.
So we have a question here.
Okay.
So everything click on the app is recorded on the blockchain, including the review. So yeah, so every time you are using the app, so every single step that you're taking is that recorded on the blockchain, including the review portion. So that's the question.
Sure, it's not every click literally by any means, but it's all the major important information, right? So anything that we're going to need to, for example, resolve a dispute will be recorded to the blockchain in this case. Messaging would be an exception. Messaging is all encrypted, for example, that we're not going to put any of that on the blockchain. But when it comes to, this person, sent this person money, of course, that is all by default on the blockchain. We don't store this data directly on the blockchain either. It's important to know that. We store as much data as possible on IPFS, the Interplanetary File System. This allows us to be a much more efficient from a technical perspective. And so what we're actually storing directly on the blockchain is just a hash of where you can go on IPFS to get all of the information for this transaction. So things like the pictures for the listing, the description for the listing, those are all on IPFS. And then all of the mission critical transactional data, like, this person purchased a listing, this person completed the listing, that is on the blockchain.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we have our next question, which is, if this was a real life transaction, what will happen if there was a disagreement about the product, or if someone lied and said they didn't receive the product? If there is no middleman, then who helped to resolve the dispute?
Yeah, great question. So first thing, this is a real transaction in the sense that it's real money that we're sending. We're subsidizing the cost of the shirt and everything, but it very much is a real transaction. You're sending this to a smart contract. This is on mainnet. This is real money. So keep that in mind. But to answer your question, when it comes to offline transactions, especially, right? I'm going to go stay in somebody's house or something like that, or somebody's going to send me a good. Of course, you need to be able to resolve these disputes. So we today will serve as a third-party provider of a lot of these services, like dispute resolution, or even this rating system that we're using, or the identity system that we are using. These are all components. They're all going to be plug and play. And the important thing for us is that we give people options, right? So today we are the only option for dispute resolution, but in the future, the users and the marketplace operators will be able to decide, who do we want to use for dispute resolution? Who do we want to use for escrow? Who do we want to use for identity? They will have these options, and that way the buyers and sellers can understand and have agreed upon this going into the transaction, and potentially choose between 2 different dispute resolution providers or 2 different escrow providers. So that's the the idea of how we're building this. We are building the infrastructure. We are building, something that many verticals will be built using this infrastructure. They're all going to have their own needs for dispute resolution and reputation, et cetera.
Okay, thank you. So are there any other questions? All right, so from my end, I am still waiting. So I have launched the transaction, and now I'm waiting for the transaction to be, or the offer to be accepted by the seller.
Yep, we're going to go ahead and go through right after this presentation and accept all of these offers. And so it's the most important thing is to make sure you get your ETH during the presentation, because that will shut off. So use that fast to get your ETH. And once you've sent in your offer, send us using messaging, send us your shirt size and shipping address. If you've done all that, the ball's in our court. We're going to accept the offer, make sure we have all of the information we need, and send you the shirt.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, and just really quickly, thank you so much. I want to make sure you guys have all of the information you need to get in touch with us. You can email me directly if you have any questions about this or anything else at jon@originprotocol.com. And check out our website, of course, originprotocol.com. We do all of our communication and collaboration out in the open. So if you come to our Discord, originprotocol.com/Discord, you can chat with our engineers, see what we're building, ask us questions, give us feedback. We also have all of our code available at github.com/originprotocol. If you're a developer, we'd love you to contribute, submit a pull request. Our last several full-time engineering hires all started as free open source contributors. So we love getting participation from the community in always possible. A lot of our translations have come from our community as well. So our application is available in like 20 languages thanks to them. And we all write quite a bit at medium.com/originprotocol. The entire team writes. You'll get updates on product, engineering, community, etc. And then lastly, of course, join our Telegram if you'd like, and stay tuned on our updates there as well. Any other questions? I know we have a little bit of time, I believe. Want to make sure everybody has their questions answered. And again, I will work with you after the presentation to accept your offer, make sure you're having all your questions answered with regards to the actual transaction.
Yes, so there is one question. For one of the attendees is asking how to share the origin referral to earn more OGNs.
Yeah, I don't know if we'd be able to dig too deeply into that. If you just shoot me an email, I can walk you through. But this month you will get a reward for referring your friends to Origin. So I would definitely take advantage. It's going to end in April. We're going to have a totally new campaign in May. But you do get rewards for referring other buyers and sellers to Origin powered marketplaces. If you have any questions, you can email me directly, or even just support@originprotocol.com. We'll help you through any questions you have about rewards or anything related to Origin.
All right. So also, for those of you who don't know, the webinar is being recorded and it will be posted on our Facebook page and on our YouTube page. So you will have you'll be able to review it. If you missed anything, you'll be able to rewatch it, right? And also an email will be going out, whether you've signed up via the Meetup page or via Eventbrite. An email will be going out with all of the links and all of the contact information that you might need.
Thank you again. Just wanted to say that I really appreciate chatting with everybody and hope to continue the conversation. Please email me and reach out to us at Origin. Okay.
So there is also one question about encountering an error message after clicking on OGN, sign, join campaign, get started. accept terms, and then at that point it shows error.
You
So
might.
yes, so yeah.
Yeah, so you may, if you're trying to do Origin rewards on mobile, we're actually working through, we just enabled it for mobile like today, but we found a couple of bugs. So you might have to wait if you're trying to do rewards through mobile. You might have to wait a couple of days. You can do it through the web today. So feel free to do that in the meantime. And otherwise, shoot us an email, but that's probably the issue that you're dealing with.
Okay, perfect. All right, so I have one more question. So does Origin plan to become a marketplace for all things and all services, or will the marketplace be able to harness to leverage the Origin technology to put up their own marketplace? So is there any wise labeling
Yes.
strategy here?
Absolutely. That is basically the entire strategy. We have built some marketplaces just to showcase what's possible and to try to get some early users and get some early feedback. But we want people to build on top of this. We want thousands of marketplaces across hundreds of verticals. You can already do this today using our marketplace creator, which is available at originprotocol.com/creator. And this allows you to create your own marketplace that you operate with your own logo, and you can go and get your own users and that sort of thing. And then ultimately, we also will release a JavaScript library that will make it easier to build much more highly customizable marketplaces. But yes, the idea is that we want developers and non-developers to be building their own marketplaces on top of this infrastructure and not have to rebuild all of the things that are common to all marketplaces, and instead focus on what's core to their marketplace.
Good. So I hope this answered the question. So while we continue for the next few minutes before the end of the webinar, there was a poll that has been sent out to all the attendees. So please make sure to answer the poll. It will just take a few seconds, and it's for us to assess the level of our members. So please ensure you answer the poll. And so the next question for you, Jon, coming from me actually, is so how is the integration of the DAI into this marketplace basically making it a better product to use? Because we saw on the in the app that you can pay in ACH directly, right? Or you can pay in OGN tokens directly. So how is the DAI an added advantage at this point?
So to clarify, today you actually cannot use OGN to pay for a listing. It's mostly an incentive mechanism, and so the only two options are ETH and DAI. And the main reason is the price volatility of ETH. So if you're going to buy something today and you don't get it till next week or next month, especially if it's like a home sharing marketplace, then either the buyer or the seller is going to lose a considerable amount of money because of that price volatility. So if you use DAI instead, you can eliminate that element of it, which is very important for these marketplaces.
Okay, good, thank you. All right, so the poll is being answered. Thank you very much, everybody, for being cooperative. And are there any other questions for Jon?
All right. Thank you again, everybody. Really appreciate your time and hope to continue the conversation.
All right, so we'll just wait for a few more minutes to see if there are any questions that the last minute questions that will be coming in. And all right, well, I guess if not, then again, I'll just repeat the same as Jon. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for this launch webinar. We have another webinar coming up on Sunday from 6:30 to approximately 8. And so we will be covering the adoption of blockchain and cryptocurrencies by the next generation, which is the Generation Z. And so for that webinar, we will be covering how you can basically use gamification to promote the responsible personal financing of kids using the KIN blockchain as well as the EOS blockchain. So if that is an interest of yours, please make sure you join us. And yeah, thank you so much, Jon, for joining us from Silicon Valley today. We really appreciate this. And we wish everybody a great rest of the day. And for those of you who already started going to events during this Toronto Blockchain Week, we wish you a happy end of Toronto Blockchain Week. And we will see you soon. We'll see you soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Jon. Bye.